What's up, people? Welcome or welcome back to Invest with T-Claus. My name is Tevi, and this channel is dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on crypto, Tesla, Neo, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information and stay for the perspective. So here we are on Thanksgiving Eve, and the channel has grown to now 155 subscribers, and I'm truly thankful for each and every one of you for your support. It took 8 months to add the first 100 subscribers, and just 2 months to grow by another 55. The progress is awesome to see, but more importantly, this keeps me motivated to keep going. It's a decent time commitment as I do it all by myself. That said, knowing that it's making a difference for a growing number of people is quite humbling. Once again, thank you. It was right around Thanksgiving last year that Bitcoin saw a parabolic rise from around $16,000 to $64,000 in the span of just about 5 months. We saw a 50% correction follow suit, then touch a new all-time high of $69,000, followed by another 20% drop, which brings us to pretty much where we are today, hovering around the $57,500 mark. Meanwhile, we're seeing other tokens rally to new all-time highs like SANDBOX, ticker symbol SAND, SAND, and Decentraland, ticker symbol MANA, M-A-N-A. I think it's reasonable to wonder if Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and other top coins will resume their move upward or quietly continue to fade away. So in today's video, I'll be reacting to a few clips. We'll cover the main reasons behind the recent Bitcoin slump and key levels to watch, touch on what's driving the decoupling from Bitcoin and the rise of other tokens like MANA and SAND. I'll have an announcement at some point during the video, so you'll have to keep watching, and wrap up with what I'm personally doing in light of all this. I'd recommend again watching all the way through so you don't miss out on any pertinent information that I share along the way. Drop the video an early like if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe button. Those are 2 easy ways to show your support to the channel and help it grow if you appreciate the content. All right, let's get into it. So I don't typically spend a ton of time looking at technical charts, mainly because I tend to focus more on the macro view. That said, it can be helpful to pay attention to key technical levels, primarily because it can help you determine how traders are positioning themselves and ultimately can provide a good indication for when to actually buy the dip. Also, the reason I pay attention to Bitcoin above all else is because it does provide a good general sense for the crypto market direction. In this first clip, take a listen for where technical support currently reside for Bitcoin.
Now to discuss the crypto markets is Katie Stockton, technical analyst at Fairlead Strategies, an independent research provider. So what's behind the dip?
Well, we have had a risk-off tape for cryptocurrencies, broadly speaking, for more than just a week, really over the last 2 to 3 weeks. And with that, we have a very significant pullback that we've seen in Bitcoin for one of about 20%. Now, that's, of course, not impossible. There's a lot of volatility inherent to this space. And believe it or not, that even with that kind of decline, Bitcoin still remains above key support, which we are looking at just shy of 53,000. That's based in part on the September high. We often see former resistance on a chart become support going forward. So that's important to note that we still have support intact. And importantly, the pullback has generated a short-term oversold reading, but it does suggest that this pullback is likely to mature within days.
What's interesting to note here, if you've been paying attention to Bitcoin and Ethereum for that matter, is that we're essentially back to where we were just about a month ago, give or take a few $1,000s. And I've told you before that you cannot keep smashing through all-time highs without long and short-term holders taking some profit along the way. That said, what you really want to be paying attention to is 1, sentiment in the market around Bitcoin, and 2, whether or not people and institutions alike are using the pullback as an opportunity to accumulate more. The answer here is yes, yes, and yes. It was just yesterday that NFL superstar Odell Beckham Jr. announced that he would be taking his full salary in Bitcoin, adding to the growing list of athletes and public figures opting for this option. Then add to that the 3rd largest account holding Bitcoin bought 207 Bitcoin at $62,000 per token and has since then made 3 additional larger purchases as the price dipped further. Those were good for 1,647 Bitcoin, followed by another one for 700, and the last one for 484 Bitcoin as the price stabilized around the current level. Last but not least, Morgan Stanley continues to increase its position and exposure to Bitcoin quarter over quarter. The bottom line here is this: whether we hit $85,000 or $100,000 by the end of this year is kind of irrelevant. And that's an odd thing to say, right? Given that I've been super bullish on Bitcoin. But what really matters is that this idea of Bitcoin as digital gold and a hedge against inflation is here to stay. With Fed Chairman Jay Powell being reappointed, there will not be a policy change, which means that inflation expectations will continue to rise. The current narrative holds true, and with that, so will the capital that flows into Bitcoin. So really, not much different from last year, which means that Bitcoin and inflation will likely be part of many Thanksgiving dinner discussions. You know what else is likely going to be discussed? NFTs. Why do I think that? Well, let me play this second clip here, and I'll come back with some additional commentary.
Thanksgiving week, Macy's is actually going to turn some of its Thanksgiving Day balloons into NFTs from their parade. What do you think of this move? And is this kind of a sign that there's almost too much hype within this space?
But in some ways, this was inevitable. I mean, every big company, and Macy's couldn't be more of a funny, typical example, because here's, a classic retail chain that has had major trouble in the last few years, long before the pandemic, trying to look hip and tech savvy by doing NFTs. Now, that said, the demand is there. The NFTs have already raised something like $42,000 in bids. These are one of one, so one of a kind, digital images, each one tied to an iconic Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day parade balloon. So some people think it's cool. And, we've talked about NFTs before. What I remind people is you just have to wrap your mind around the idea that in many cases value has gone digital. People say it's just a static digital image. Why would anyone pay a lot of money for this? Well, because they own it. It's parked on blockchain. The owner is the only person who can trade it, sell it. Other people say, well, I can take a screenshot and share it too. Sure, that doesn't mean you own it. So Macy's has jumped in, and I'll give you one other funny thing here. It seems to me the idea was in part prompted by a major shareholder in Macy's that recently publicly advised Macy's to do crypto things. This shareholder group also wanted Macy's to partner with a crypto platform to accept crypto as payment. That hasn't happened yet. I'll be surprised if I see Macy's do that. But this seems like step one.
That's pretty funny. Do crypto things. But that's really where we are, right? It was just 2 weeks ago that I posted this video on NFTs and covered why I believe their relevance will only increase with time. Now, here we are. The Macy's Thanksgiving Parade is one of the most recognized events that many around the US and probably other places that celebrate Thanksgiving watch every single year. Many who have never heard of NFTs will for the first time get introduced to the concept, which should spark some pretty interesting conversations, right? And it may not be for everyone, but many who would have otherwise not even been interested may now get interested and start searching and potentially bidding on this collection. And I mean, there's some really cool ones in there, right? I mean, you can see on the screen there. The point is, it will spark interest and conversation. Chances are one of your relatives or yourself will be the one explaining what an NFT is and why you'd want one. And once you get introduced to the NFT concept, chances are you'll start researching them more and more, especially if one resonates with you. Those of you who have been following the channel for a little bit know about my Metaverse NFT, and just this Monday, I got into this new Dogecoin theme NFT collection. I'm a huge fan of the project because it pretty much embodies what the Dogecoin community is about. Low price of entry, good vibes, and you could say that this is the NFT for the people. And maybe if there's enough interest, I'll do a step-by-step on how to mint your own NFT. So let me know in the comments below if that's something that you'd be interested in. You know what? Now that I think about it, I just said that this was the NFT for the people, good vibes and all that stuff. And it's Thanksgiving after all, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give one of these away to one lucky winner. Details on how to enter the giveaway will only be posted in the description for this video. All right, so I did say that supporting the channel and watching all the way through would pay off, and this is an example of that. So moving forward, we'll probably have more of these little impromptu giveaways in NFTs or crypto, and that's going to be just as a big thank you for those who continue to support the channel and watch every video all the way through. All right, so getting back on topic, with NFTs comes the concept of the Metaverse, which I've also covered previously on the channel. With both Facebook, now Meta, and Microsoft diving deeper into the pool here, Metaverse-focused projects like Decentraland and the SANDBOX have been decoupling from Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most other top coins. I'll link the website to Decentraland if you want to go and learn more about it, but at a high level, it's a virtual world where you can buy and sell digital real estate, create new games, and so much more. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, this can't be that relevant, can it? Well, let's put things into perspective here. Bitcoin is down 5.40% over the last month, even though it posted a new all-time high. I do always say, take a longer view, right? So from a year ago, Bitcoin is up 210%, which is pretty good. Meta, the Decentraland token, is up 45% this week alone, 498% this past month, and a cool 5,000% over the past year. Sand, the token for SANDBOX, posted even more ridiculous returns over the same period. What's even more interesting here is that despite such amazing returns in the past year, their market cap is still under $10 billion, meaning that you can still reasonably expect, as NFTs and the Metaverse goes mainstream in 2022, that there will likely be quite a bit more upside from here. Obviously, this isn't meant to be taken as financial advice, but it's certainly an opportunity that is worth researching in my opinion. And so what do I make of all this? Well, as far as Bitcoin and Ethereum, momentum in those two will likely resume in the coming weeks. The crypto space now has an overall market cap of over $2.5 trillion and is too large to ignore. That's precisely why countries around the world are implementing regulations and providing clarity and setting guardrails around this new asset class. Just this week, the US Fed aligned on regulation that will roll out in 2022, allowing banks to implement custody services, buying and selling of cryptocurrency, offer loans collateralized with crypto, and issuance of stable coins. The US is not the first in the world to do this, but it certainly provides a big boost of confidence for the space. And I'm willing to bet that you're going to see an acceleration of the merge between TradFi and DeFi, and with that, major cryptocurrencies will rise to new all-time highs as the year goes on and into next year. As for the Metaverse, well, I'll simply say this. Tokens.com, which is a Canadian investment firm, just bought $2.5 million worth of virtual land in Decentraland. The interesting thing here is that the virtual real estate they bought will be based in the Decentraland Fashion Street district with the purpose to accommodate the growing demand for fashion brands wanting to showcase digital merchandise in the Metaverse. And so in the end, what I plan to do in light of all this is pretty straightforward. I will continue to add to my crypto positions. I'm starting a new position in Mana and SANDBOX, and the reason being that it's an easy way to capture the Metaverse boom as various NFT projects, game developers, and renowned fashion brands dive deeper and deeper into the Metaverse. But on that note, I'll leave it here for today. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash the like button and share with others who you think could benefit from it. As a reminder, I post every Sunday and now target one additional in-week video for more crypto-focused content. Once again, happy Thanksgiving to all who celebrate it. Thank you for watching. Stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you in the next one.